Hey guys, and welcome to the Provokers podcast, where we talk about things you should too. So today I'm joined by.
Hi, Lily. I'm Ethan. I was Flabsexy Gaming. You threw me off because you didn't say it exactly right.
I'm going off script.
Is he going rogue? Get him!
And I am your host, Jeebins, and happy Halloween. If you're listening to this the day it releases, it's Halloween. And if you're not listening to this the day this releases, then you can time travel, and then it is Halloween. So
or
it's Halloween whenever you want it to be.
If you don't listen to this the day it comes out, your family will be they'll be missed. They'll be missed. That's all I'll say.
Yes.
But yeah. So
what can we do about that?
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah. But yeah, this year worked out perfectly. Halloween is on a Friday, which is great because these episodes come out on Friday at 6 p.m. EST. The time frame doesn't exactly matter, but the day does matter. Because before, especially with Christmas, it would always be like, oh, it's on a Wednesday, so I either got to do it this week or the next week. Either way, it was like wrong. But we always chose to kind of do it a little bit before Christmas because it made a bit more sense. But yeah, it works out this year.
Indeed, it does. Yes. So I feel like we have the small talk sections, right? But we've been very boring. You guys know this, so we never really have much to say there. So I think we skip that today. What do you think?
I mean, you might not have anything. I didn't talk about my vacation that I went on.
Who cares about your vacation?
Yeah. So real quick, I'm not going to tell you too much because like last time, not the last time. Was it the last time? It was the time before that, I think. Where there was an entire episode called Beach Day that was dedicated to it. It was like me telling a story, but it's because there was a lot of things that happened. And also, it was like a secret words type of thing. No one, John, didn't figure out the secret word. The secret word was beach, and they didn't figure it out. But yeah, so it was a great time, super relaxing. It was definitely a much needed vacation. This year, I can't speak for everybody, but this year has been super draining mentally. So it's been it was a nice relaxing vacation. I got to read some books. I flippin' read a book this year. I mean, I had before, but I think I had like 2 books. I need to check Goodreads because I marked it there. I think I had 2 books after January ended, and then the entire rest of the year I had nothing else. It was just 2. But I read 4 books in the course of those 2 weeks there. What did I read? I read The Lost Causes of Bleak Creek, which is a book written by Rhett and Link, by the way, from Good Myth Good Morning. An amazing book, by the way. I need to preface this to anyone listening right now. They have not sponsored me. I don't know how that'd work anyway. We're not partnering with them, although that'd be great. But that book was a complete adventure. It was so good. I literally, it's a good book when you read the last page, you set it down, you're like, wow. Like, that's how you know it's a good book, and I literally did that. It was such a good book. I've never wanted to put it down. I had to sometimes to eat and stuff, but I didn't want to put it down, and I never wanted to leave it on a certain page. It's like, that's how good that book was. Because I was expecting it to be like a goofy book. It's not. It's an amazing, almost like, I'm not good with genres. I wouldn't say horror, but there are horror elements in it. And stuff like that. It's such a good book. I urge any one of you to go pick up that book and read it. It's awesome. And it also supports Red and Link, who are amazing people, so go check them out. But yeah, the book itself, beautiful. I would read it again. I wish I could read it again for the first time, because that'd be awesome, but yeah, amazing book. What else did I read? I read the Minecraft The Island, I think is the first one. It's a 10-book series. I read the first one. I read Space Opera. Really interesting book. Not my usual type of style, so I wasn't the most impressed with that one, but it was okay. And then the other one that I read was I think it's called the DCA. It's a book I got from a vendor actually before I went on vacation, and I'd read that one, and that one was my next favorite outside of The Lost Causes of Bleak Creek. Really good. I'm gonna have to get the rest of that series from that author because it's really fun. But, yeah, I got to read, got to relax, ate some really good food, and had a great time, so.
Nice. Yeah, I've been not reading all that much lately. I think the last time I actually finished a book was maybe like 2-3 months ago. Because I finished reading a book called Name of the Wind, which is a fantasy book that I really liked. And I bought the sequel to it, and I just haven't got a chance to really dig into it, because it's a lengthy book.
Yeah.
So, I just haven't had the time.
That's what it is, man. It's all about time, because now that I'm back from vacation, I worry a little bit, because my goal was 12. And I think if I'm doing this correctly, I have 6 so far. I need to read 6 books by the end of the year. And I don't see that personally happening, but we'll see what happens. Because right now I'm reading a book called Ward D. It's a horror book, from what I gathered. It was actually on Prime Big Day deals or whatever. It was like $2. I'm like, a 400-page book for $2? That's steal. Give me. You go to Barnes Nobles, and again, no slight to Barnes Nobles. I love shopping there. Your bookstore smells amazing, by the way. But it'd be like $20 or something. So I'm like, yep, I'm gonna buy that now. So I'm currently reading through that. I've only read like the first 2 chapters, so I'm not anywhere close to being able to tell you how good it is. But yeah, I cannot stress enough. If you have not read The Lost Clock, okay, all right, take your pills. The Lost Causes of Bleak Creek. If you have not read that book, I strongly urge you to do so. It's only like 300 some pages. It's not too long, and it's just an amazing experience. I recommend it to anyone that likes to read books. Even if you're not totally a fan of the whole, like, I want to call it thriller, maybe. I don't know I'm not good with genres. Like I said, there's horror elements. It's not a horror book necessarily. It's definitely like, I want to say murder mystery, because you know who the bad guy is immediately, really. But it's just interesting. I'm not going to spoil too much. Just go read it. It's awesome.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. And I didn't
You would love
that
it.
book.
From the books that you've told me you've read, you'd like it.
All right. Well, I will have to put it on the list.
That's your homework right there.
The ever increasing list of books that I have to read.
Well, put that to the top.
It just keeps
Read it
getting
first.
bigger and bigger. All right.
That's how lists work, right?
Yeah, of course. Do you have a headline for us today?
Oh. I forgot the headline came first before because I was like, do I have a creator showcase? But, well, oops. I forgot about that.
Headlines don't.
Headlines, they don't happen. I'm trying to think if I saw one. Again, I mentioned this jokingly last one. I leave for 2 weeks and the whole government shuts down. That's fun. Not going to continue to talk about that. I don't think there's anything that was truly interesting that happened besides that while I was gone. There might have been, but I don't think I ever grabbed it to do the headline thing. So we'll just yeah, you know what? We'll slide it under the rug. It doesn't matter. It doesn't, just like when you murder someone and you gotta slide the weapon under the rug, something like that. And then you gotta clean the floor, then you gotta spray paint the walls to make sure that the blood from the walls doesn't get seen, then you gotta vacate the premises, then you gotta go on the run for 12 years, and then you gotta avoid the police. Like, it's just all this whole different stuff,
Right, you gotta change your name.
Oh yeah, I forgot, you gotta change your name. Issues. Yep. Yeah. It really sucks,
It's all around a bad experience, so I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah.
But in that case, do you have a creative showcase for us today?
Do I have a creator showcase for you? I sure do. So their name on, at least what I can see from Instagram, their YouTube might be the same. It's Spanger Look Ray. I think is how you say it. So I'll spell it out. It's SpangerLookray. So that's how you spell it. And they specialize in like these almost like, speaking of horror, actually, they specialize in these like horror shorts. Essentially, they're like short films is the word I'm looking for. I was about to say short movie. Short films. They specialize in these like horror short films, and they're really terrifying. I will sit, like, I always watch them at night, which is a terrible idea. But the music composite, they don't really make the music, but they'll use music, and then they masterfully cut it off. And I'm like, why'd you do that? Why'd you cut off the music? But they don't jump scare you immediately, because a lot of movies do that, where they cut the music and they do that. Not this guy. He makes jump scares a little bit unpredictable. And I just almost got scared by watching one of them. Listen, you be quiet over there. You didn't see nothing. And sometimes he has like double jump scares, so like you get jump scared, you think it's over, then you get jump scared again. Yeah, and it's almost got like this weird VHS filter on it, so it makes it look super old school, and I don't know if it's his house or what house he's in, but the house itself looks old school. It's just really creepy vibes all around. This guy, he makes pretty incredible, short films. Like the one I'm watching right now is like, he's like, oh, the basement's not scary. And then he goes down to the basement. His friend is saying, oh, the basement's not scary. And he's like, come on, man. And he walks down to the basement. His friend's gone. And it's like, oh. And then he sees like a dark closet in the distance, and the music cuts off. And then it's like several seconds later, he's like looking around, and the music's still off, by the way. And he's like, "Dude, are you there?" And then you just see these like hands come out of the darkness. It's like, absolutely not. And then it kind of does that for a while, and then eventually it runs at you, which is what I almost got scared by. Because it's so abrupt, and it doesn't move like a human would. I don't know if he's editing this, or if he has like a mannequin that he moves around, or I think it's an actual actor, but I don't know. Because it doesn't move like a human. They almost float, which is really creepy. So yeah, go check them out. Awesome horror shorts. If you like that type of stuff, then you'll love it. If you hate horror, then don't go anywhere near this guy because they're pretty scary. So, like I said, Spanger Lookray, I think is how you say it. That might be his name. I don't know. But SpangerLookrey. So go check them out.
Interesting. Yeah. Never heard of them myself, so I mean, but they sound creepy.
It's definitely, yeah. If you like horror short stuff, you like it. But if you don't, then you know.
Yes, well, speaking of horror,
yeah, segue.
Today, we're doing. This is actually one that was requested by somebody.
Yes, and I really apologize because I can't find the email again. So it's been so long, and I get so many emails I can't. Not from you guys specifically, but I get so many emails in general that I can't find it again. So I'm so sorry to whoever recommended it, but I know I shouted y'all in the actual episode, so there's that, but I can't do it again because I can't find it. But you know who you are.
Yes. Yeah, you know, yeah, we're talking about creepypastas because it's Halloween and creepypastas.
And it's creepy. We love pasta. You know.
I do love pasta. I mean, I don't think it has anything to do with creepypastas. I've been looking for creepypastas about pasta and I didn't see anything. So,
we've been scammed once again.
Clickbait is what I'm saying.
Clickbait.
But to start us off, I gotta mention a classic. It's a video game one. It's Herobrine. Everyone knows Herobrine.
Yes.
If you don't know who Herobrine is or what that is, then you probably don't play Minecraft. Because if you play Minecraft and you don't know who Herobrine is, what do you even do? Have you used the internet?
Or like they're new to Minecraft or something.
If you're new to Minecraft, yeah. So basically, it's just a guy who kind of creepy looking. He's got all white eyes. He's just Steve with all white eyes, and he's off in the distance, just looking at you.
Yes.
I think the lore changes depending on the story or the video, but it's usually just that. That's what it originally was anyway. It was somebody who was playing in a single player, I think, peaceful world. So it wasn't even meant to be mobs, and they were just like, "Oh, there's a guy. He's staring at me." And I know there's mods that add him in as well. That's unrelated to the original creepypasta. It was just something someone made up.
Right. Well, I have a lot to speak on here, Brian, just because not only is he a character in my ARG, that's it's paused at the moment, but you can still see the past 10 seasons that we had with it, as well as the movie that came out. But he's also a feature, well, sort of. He's a feature in one of my favorite series of my channel called Minecraft Tales. It's a horror, almost like, it's hard to explain because it's a combination of different things. It's gameplay, obviously. It's horror. It's sort of roleplay, sort of not. It's like, because I'm going into this with genuine reactions. I don't know what they're doing. I don't play test the mods beforehand. I don't know. All I know is kind of what the monster might look like, because it's usually on the thumbnail or something of the mod. And so I know what they'll look like a little bit, but I don't know what they do. I don't know how they're going to try and kill me, like all this kind of stuff. So I say roleplay, but it's really not, because I'm going into first reaction type thing. But he's also a character technically in that. And I say technically because some of you might not know this, but I'm dating myself here because this is like 2009. But when Herobrine was first kind of conceived, his actual original name was White Eyes. That was his original name. And then White Eyes slowly started to become Herobrine. And so the tales that I have in my series right now, it's called the Tales of the White Eyes, because his name was not originally Herobrine. I don't know how, I'd have to look back on how he actually got the name Herobrine, or if it kind of just shifted into that. People just started calling him that, or whatever. But yeah, he's a very interesting character. Obviously, he's not real. I mean, none of these creepypastas we're going to be talking about kind of are. Although, some of them are based in reality. This one's obviously not based in reality. And so, he never existed. Did I troll the hell out of my friends when I was, like, 8? Absolutely, I did. And everyone that had a good time playing Minecraft at that time did as well. So, don't try and lie to yourself. Don't say you didn't do it, because you did. Yeah, it was super interesting, the story around him. I didn't really sort of grasp the stories around him up until later. But like John said, the lore kind of depends on who's telling it, really. But the general consensus is he's either already in your world when you spawn in, or you can spawn him in using the classic gold pyramid with the netherrack and the fire on top. Everyone, the redstone torches, don't forget those. That's the classic way to spawn him in. I remember watching Minecraft YouTubers like spawn them in, like quote unquote spawn them in and have them play against them, because there are mods that you can add to have him actually in the game. But in vanilla Minecraft, he was supposed to not be a thing, and Mojang kind of didn't really help the case, because they kept saying removed Herobrine in like certain updates, and I'm like, okay, was he ever a thing to begin with? So they kind of led into the joke as well, which I think is really cool. So. He's less creepy now than he was back then. Back then, Minecraft looked a lot creepier. Now it looks more pretty. So, especially with vibrant visuals. Vibrant visuals make the game look so nice. But it makes it also look less creepy, just in my personal belief. Now, that doesn't mean that the sounds that emanate from the caves or whatever aren't terrifying. But, I don't know, there's something about old Minecraft is creepy. I don't know what it is, but...
Yeah, I would say, like... I feel like there's a video I watched, this is moving slightly away from creepypastas, but it's related, where it's like, why Minecraft peaceful mode is eerie or something along those lines.
Oh yeah, I think I watched that.
It was like, it basically talked about how it's the idea that there should be something there, but there's not, and that can be kind of creepy.
The only thing I disagreed with that episode is, because I think I actually watched that, I forgot who it's by, but shout out to whoever that is. It's a good video, and it's a good, like, documentary almost. But the only thing I have against it is, that would be true if peaceful mobs also didn't spawn. Because peaceful mobs still spawn. You still have the cows, you still have the pigs, you still have the chickens, so you're not truly alone. If you were playing peaceful mode and there was no animals, that would feel really creepy. Because it's like, I know there's supposed to be animals here, why aren't there, you know?
Yeah, and I think the point might have been, like, in the caves, because you still have the cave sounds, like the creepy, like, weird sounds it gives you. And so if you're hearing stuff in the caves, but there's nothing there, that can be kind of creepy.
Well, and I think that point still stands, though, without even having the peaceful mode on. Because if you're in normal mode, you're still going to get the... There's one sound, I don't know why it's in the game. There's one sound that sounds like an alien, like a xenomorph alien's about to come and attack you. It's like, why is that in the game? Because you're in the caves, you hear that, and you're like, oh my god, what is that? And I can't imagine being a new player to that. Because, like, you're going to think there's an actual, just horrible alien about to come murder your face. And, like, I'd be terrified. Like, screw creepers coming out of the darkness. I don't want to see a giant alien come out of the darkness. No, thank you. So, there's those, and there's a lot of, like, different machine sounds, so it makes it sound like there's, like, humans down there. Which, again, is creepy because you're never going to find them because there's not actually humans down there. So, I think that eeriness is kind of always there. It's just more amplified depending on what you do.
Right. Yeah, I would agree with that. But do you have a creepypasta for me to...
Yes. So, one of my favorite ones, and I know I'm gonna offend a couple people here. Well, not a couple, but I'm gonna offend a couple people here. Just because I prefer this one over the other one. And my creepypasta of choice, and one that I really love, is The Backrooms. One of my favorite creepypastas ever. Horrible. If I didn't know, no, ever, never ever. I've always seen the videos like, oh, would you rather be stuck in the backrooms or, like, eat slugs or something? I'm like, I'll take the slugs from being eternally damned to the backrooms, thank you. But the backrooms is just always eerie. We just talked about the eeriness of Minecraft. There's so much eeriness from the backrooms, especially if you play a backroom game like the Complex, where there's not an enemy that's chasing you all the time, but you still hear these sounds, you still see shadows move, you're like, what's going on here? You always have this constant fear looming over you that there's going to be something that's going to run and attack you. And granted, Escape the Backrooms is one of my favorite backroom games of all time. That's not the case. There's monsters chasing you practically half the time. But that's scary in a different way. the backrooms, I think, and while it's a good game, the backrooms, the true way to experience the backrooms is playing a game like the Complex or something along the lines of that, where there's not exactly enemies, but it's still just eerie. There's nothing there. You're in a void of space by yourself. No one to help you, no one to talk to, no one to see, no one to look at, nothing. You're just alone. And I think that's the true fear of liminality, is the fear of being alone. Because if you're with people, yes, it's still creepy, and yes, it can still be dangerous, but it's still, like, by yourself, there's just an extra layer of fear that gets unlocked with that. And the reason I say I'm going to offend people is because SCP was first, and it kind of has the same idea. I understand that. SCP is still great and still cool. I still love SCP. But the backrooms, I just think there's something so creative and eerie about it that just makes it even scarier to me. Because I was never totally scared of SCPs. Outside of the Shy Guy, he's terrifying. No thank you. But outside of him, SCP was cool, but I never really found it scary. Backrooms, when it first came out, made me feel really terrified. When me and John my first exposure, besides my own, like, by myself, the first exposure I had was when me and John first played inside the backrooms. Now, we all know how that ended. But the first time we played it, I was shivering. Because there's these sounds that are crackling over the place. I think there's one time where me and John lost each other. I'm like, where the hell did you go? Something like that. Where it's just the absolute fear of liminality. And I think it's depending on how the person does it, it can be truly expressed in game format or indoor video format. Because I'm just talking about the game. I'm not even talking about the video formats. Because the video formats are also really cool. Like Kane Pixels, obviously, he blew up. He was like 16 or something at the time when he made that. That's incredible. I think he's got over like 10 million or something now, doesn't he? So it's crazy, and it's still building. There's still backrooms games to be made. There's still levels that are being designed and stuff because it's kind of like a community thing. People can make their own levels. They just have to. I guess there's like a secret committee that has to approve them or something. But you get the idea. So yeah, backrooms top 10 for me, top 5, maybe even top 3. I'd probably say top 3 actually. So yeah. And it's a more recent one, too, because a lot of creepypastas are super dated. But this one's a more recent one, because this came out... I mean, yes, the original Backrooms image technically came out in, like, 2007 or something, but the Backrooms didn't really take off till, like, 2022 or something, whatever it was.
Yeah, I also what you said about, like, it's scarier alone with the Backrooms. I feel like that's true for a lot of horror experiences. Because I feel like for most of the horror games we've played, when it's been both me and you, it's been like, yeah, I mean, there's monsters, but I'm just having a good time over here. But when you're, like, alone, you got no one to talk to, no one to be like, hey, you can go deal with that. It's way scarier.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I wouldn't say Boomman fits that at all. Like, when I'm by myself, I'm like, oh, well, guess John died.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's exactly perfect.
Is really... Yeah, I guess that's a fact. Boomman is just, you steal stuff.
Yeah. But do you have another one, John?
I suppose I do. I don't know much about it, but there's one that I remember when we were in high school, maybe middle school. There was one that was like, I think it was just a picture of that would be sent around in like DMs or whatnot of this. It's called Momo. And there's like this creepy looking face.
Yes.
I remember people talking about it everywhere. I was at the time. I was like, "What are you talking about? This is a creepy face. Is that a real person?" I had no clue what they were talking about because I'd never seen it. And then I looked it up and I was like, "Oh, it's a creepypasta. So it's not real. So what are they freaking out about?"
Right.
So I still don't know a whole lot about it. I just remember it vividly from middle school / early high school being like, people were talking about it, so I'm gonna quickly look up the creepypasta just so I know what I'm talking about. It was an urban legend or a hoax, which is all creepypastas. Yeah, it's meant through the social media, so that makes sense. So it was like, I see. People would send it as if they were the creepy person. And that's why it was like, that's creepy, that person's scary looking. But it really just wasn't real. Interesting.
Right.
I love how, like, this one, like, what is the origin? And the AI review is like, oh, it's a food. It's like, no, that's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's not accurate.
That's all I really have to say about that one. I mean, it's just There's a few other things like that where I would hear about it and be like, "What's that?" And they're like, "Oh, it's this creepy thing." And I'm like, "Oh, is it?" And then I'd look it up and be like, "Oh, it's not that creepy."
Right. Yeah, that's my next one. I mean, it'd be a shame. It'd be a darn shame to talk about creepypastas and not talk about one of the biggest ones, especially in the gaming community, which would be Slenderman. Now, as a 2000s baby myself, Slenderman was everywhere, and I never honestly really got into it except for when Markiplier played Slenderman, and then I watched it, and then I was like, "This is cool." Now, I didn't really partake too much of playing it. I would really just watch people play Slenderman or like Slenderman tapes or whatever. The only time I actually started playing it was when I played Slenderman: The Arrival, which is a really cool game, by the way. It's an oldie. But I played that on the channel 6 months ago, 9 months ago, whatever time frame that was. So yeah, it's a very interesting game. But Slenderman as a whole is kind of creepy, especially the tentacle version, the freaking hentai tentacle monster one, where it's not just the Slenderman figure, but he also has like these tentacles that come out of him. No thanks in any sort of way. And the whole idea of like look behind you, that's always like a paper you see on the trees, no matter who makes the game, that's always the thing you see. Anytime you see something that says look behind you, you immediately kind of get shivered. It's like, okay, no thanks. So, yeah, I think it'd be a shame to talk about creepypastas and not include one of the main ones there. So.
Yeah, Slenderman is obviously a classic. I think the most experience I had with it was just watching Markiplier play Slenderman games on YouTube. I don't think I'd ever heard of it before, so I thought it was just originated from a video game. Like, oh yeah, it's a video game with Slenderman. And it wasn't until I was a little older that it's like, oh, that's just a creepypasta. That's not just in video games.
Right.
There's a video I watched a while back called "You Can't Do Shit in Creepypastas," and it's basically talking about how in nearly every creepypasta story you have characters who are just doing normal stuff when it starts, and so it's like, yeah, you're not allowed to live in these universes, and they mentioned Slenderman, and they're like, yeah, well, you see, you're damned if you do if you collect the pages, because that makes him more angry sometimes. Mm-hmm. And but also he's like, if you don't collect the pages, so you just gotta die in that one. You got no chance. So that's a lot of creepypastas that guy talked about. I don't remember his channel name, but I imagine if you searched up "You Can't Do Shit in Creepypastas," you'd be able to find it. He made 2 videos of it. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think. Another one that's very classic, I would say, is the Ben Drowned creepypasta. You've heard of that one?
I've heard of it. I just don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's like the creepypasta is like there was this person who found a copy of Majora's Mask and it was haunted by a kid named Ben who drowned.
Oh.
And so it would have a lot of like glitches happening in the game and like creepy images of Link, stuff like that. But yeah, that's one that I was like, I think I learned about that originally from just a random Legend of Zelda video I was watching, which I'm not like huge into Legend of Zelda either, so I was like, oh, I've never heard of that. But it's a pretty well known one, I'd say.
Right.
Someone on Reddit is asking what the actual backstory is. It's a creepypasta. That's the backstory.
Well, they're probably talking about how it got started, not the backstory of an event. I mean, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt there because it's Reddit, but
yeah, they were.
Yeah, because I've heard of Ben Drowned, but I played one game, and I haven't played. I played a little bit of Majora's Mask, but I didn't obviously encounter anything weird. The game itself is a little kind of creepy just because of the whole mask garbage. That guy's mask, I forget what his name is. Because it's not the final guy. There's one guy that has a really realistic looking mask and it's kind of creepy. And of course the final guy there, his mask is kind of a little creepy too. But yeah, the entire game is a little creepy, and I think that's kind of what they were going for at the time. It's not meant to be horror necessarily, but there's some creepy factors in it.
Yeah, that's an experience I've seen a lot of people talk about. But they'll talk about a game that is not even horror, but they like, this game creeped me out as a kid. and they would talk about the parts that creeped them out, and be like, yeah, I can see that creeping out somebody, especially children.
Right.
Because I saw a video that was like Kingdom Hearts creeped me out as a kid. I'm like, how could that game creep you out? They got like so goofy and a bunch of ridiculous stuff happening. What would freak you out about that? Because I also played it as a kid, so like even as a kid I was freaked out. And I listened to what they had to say about it. And I'm like, yeah, I guess I can see how that might creep someone out. But most of it was just like, okay then, maybe just get good as a child, and don't be scared.
Right.
But I've seen that experience with a lot of games that aren't inherently creepy, but people are like, oh, it just freaked me out. Did you have another one for me?
I do, and this one, you would know if you're in the community of this. I mean, I'm not, well, I should say, you might know about this if you're about the same age as I am. That's about how I'd say that. If you're new, if you're like 10 or younger, you probably don't even know about this. And you probably shouldn't know about this, so close your ears now. But, so this one, I'm going to call it by its other name, because I don't know if I'm allowed to say, oh no, I probably could say it. I think we actually had to say it in a, no, you can probably say it. So it's called Red Mist, is one of the names. The other name is called Squidward's Suicide. Most people just call it Red Mist, but, so, Red Mist is a creepypasta based on a lost episode of SpongeBob that never actually aired. And the whole idea of it is that the way that it kind of starts off is like Squidward's, he's giving his clarinet performance or whatever. I think he's in front of an audience, and then everyone starts booing him. He's like, boo, you stink! You know, the guy that's like, oh, brother, this guy stinks. Yeah, a bunch of that. And even SpongeBob is like laughing at him and like booing or whatever. And he just starts to get kind of like uneasy. He starts to be super sad. And I think he returns home, and you can kind of see how depressed he is. And then there's a soundtrack that's playing, but then it gets cut off, and then there's like random creepy background noise, like unsettling background noise. And then from what I've seen and what I've read, because I didn't know too much about it going into it, but from what I'm reading, apparently the intern that found this, supposedly, was saying that there's disturbing graphic visuals that feature like mutated children flashing on the screen, and Squidward's eyes changing to a more realistic and bloody appearance. And then, obviously, based on what the second name is, you can tell how this kind of ends. It ends in the way you think it does. It concludes with Squidward using a shotgun to do something, and then there's a voice in the background that's like that says just do it or something. It's really creepy. There's actually a game that Markiplier played called Red Mist, I think, and it's based on that creepypasta, and that game is terrifying, by the way. I don't know if... I think the game is actually called Red Mist, so if you look up Markiplier Red Mist, you probably will find it. But it's a really creepy game that's based off of it. And the series apparently acknowledges the episode, or the creepypasta, because in a 2019 episode, SpongeBob in Random Land, a scene shows Squidward opening doors to different versions of himself, including one that is a clear reference to the red-eyed creepypasta version, which is interesting. So that they even kind of followed the idea that it was a thing. But obviously, it's kind of like Mojang with Hero Brother. They're kind of playing into it, but also saying that, hey, this wasn't a thing that happened. It's just a rumor that kind of spread around and eventually became the creepypasta, so...
Yeah, that one's a classic as well, especially people of our age, you know. As well as if you've seen the Markiplier video, because Markiplier's pretty well known, I would say.
Right.
But yeah, I think I haven't been watching the Markiplier's video on it. I had heard of the creepypasta before that. I wasn't huge into SpongeBob as a kid, so I wasn't like in the know, but even I had heard about it, so it's a pretty well known one.
Right.
There's a lot of, when I was younger, I would listen to, there's a handful of YouTube channels that do this, but I would listen to videos of people telling creepypasta stories, and sometimes I'd be like, ooh, that's creepy. And I feel like there's a handful that was like, this isn't even that scary, what are you even talking about? But I guess that's just me. Because it probably would spook some people. But there are definitely some that are not as good. I'm sure there's plenty that you could find just like looking up bad creepypastas. Yeah, I looked up bad creepypasta, and it is a Reddit post that says, "Can someone link me to a really bad creepypasta?" It's like, why are you looking for that? So then, I guess maybe they're fine.
Yeah.
But how are we doing on time?
We're doing fine.
Alright. That's good. Yeah, you don't want to do bad on time, do you? Then bad things happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me look up a couple of them. Because I think, I can't really think
You're already out?
many else. Yeah, I mean, I didn't, I said I watched a lot of videos, but like, I don't remember them.
I'm surprised. I mean, I don't know how much you're connected to it necessarily, but I'm surprised you're not mentioning like Jeff the Killer or something. Or
Oh yeah, I mean, Jeff the Killer is a classic one for sure. Because that one was.
there's Sonic.exe. You probably know that one.
Oh yes, yeah. I mean, there's plenty of those. Those are fair points. I'm gonna talk about Jeff the Killer because I remember. I don't know if I talked about this before on the podcast. I feel like I have, but I'll do it again. I'll fucking do it again.
I'll fucking do it again.
I would play this game called Little Big Planet, and it's just like a kids game.
Right.
You can make your own levels, and so you can play them online. And so there are plenty of Jeff the Killer levels where there would just be Jeff the Killer run after you and try to kill you. It's like that's the most experience I have with that creepypasta. But that's an interesting one, especially because the original picture is lost media.
Right.
There's a video I watched about that. There's like no one knows where the actual original unedited picture of Jeff the Killer really comes from. That's fairly interesting.
Right.
Yeah, it's just like, isn't it just a creepy picture?
It's a. I mean, the story behind the picture is that it's a guy that like burned his eyeballs or something. But I don't know if that's just the story they made up for the character or for the actual photo. I don't know where the photo came from. Like, if you look up origin of Jeff the Killer picture, it probably will tell you. But I couldn't tell you myself.
Yeah. But yeah, that one's definitely a classic. I know there's one I saw a video about it. I didn't watch the video. But there was something about like a spin-off called Jane the Killer.
Yes, and I'm going to stop you from talking because that's the one I'm going to talk about. So,
Alright.
Jane the Killer is 10 times more creepy to me than Jeff the Killer is. And I'm going to give you a reason, okay? And I looked this up.
Okay.
I looked this up now and I looked it up before and I still believe it. I strongly believe, and this is subjective, obviously. It's a fear thing, so it's subjective. I personally believe that female ghosts are 10 times scarier than male ghosts. And apparently Asians agree because statistically, a lot of, like, almost 90% of their movies that revolve around ghosts, they have a female ghost. And I was curious about that. I'm like, why do I personally feel that? Why do a lot of movies have female ghosts, like The Ring, for example? Why is that the case? And I looked it up. And psychologically speaking, in most societies, women are considered caregivers, the nurturing mother, the emotionally available friend, whatever. They're a gentle presence. And so when that presence is shifted into evil or, like, destruction, it's terrifying. And so that, I think, is the reason, like, I personally know for myself, but that's probably the reason why it's like that in movies. And so Jane the Killer, I just looked up a picture of her. She's terrifying. No, thank you. Just, nope, I'm okay. It's like Jeff the Killer, at this point, to me, looks kind of goofy. If Jane the Killer came at me, I'm just dying. That's it, I guess. Just it for me, I suppose. Because I didn't even really know too much about her until I looked up Jeff the Killer, and then she was kind of there with it. I guess she's the antagonist of Jeff, so they don't like each other. I thought maybe they were like husband and wife duo or something. I don't know. I don't read the stories of these things. But apparently she's the she's the main antagonist of Jeff the Killer, which is interesting. Because she's trying to make up for his deeds or something. I don't get how the whole story is. I don't read the story of it. I just think as a idea, it's terrifying. Like the one I'm specifically looking at. So that's the one I'm going to go with. I just, I didn't know about her really prior to this, but it's just, I'm adding it in because that's terrifying. And also, another one, it's not really a creepypasta necessarily, but The Ring is a great example of it because there's so many games, so many movies that play on the idea of The Ring. and that's why I think it's absolutely terrifying. Like The Ring, if I watched it when I was like 12 or something, terrifying experience. So
Right. Yeah. Let me see. There's another one I just thought of, and then it's left my brain. Thank you. Because I probably found it if I looked up what I had looked up before.
Well, while you're thinking about it, another statistic I was looking at before is that, and again, this is just general societal stuff. This is not like this is perspective here, but and I can kind of attest as a guy when I'm surrounded by other men I don't know. I am kind of looking around. I am kind of being observant. I am kind of making sure no one's trying anything. With if I'm in a room full of women, which never happens, but if I were to be, I wouldn't really do that. And so the inversion, I think, is what terrifies me. The inversion of like these people that are normally soft and loving are now evil and trying to murder my face. So I think that's kind of where I get it from. I think I don't know where anyone else gets it from, and I don't know if that's the reason why a lot of Asian horror movies have that in there, have a female ghost. I don't know. That's just how it works for me. I mean, everyone's scared of different things, but that's how it kind of goes for me. So.
One I know is like a very iconic one is the Russian sleep experiment.
Yes.
Which plays off of actual psychological experiments. Like, it's not an actual one. The Russian is fake. But it plays off the existence of real ones that are basically horror stories. I mean, like, the Stanford prison experiment is a big one. That's a real thing that was pretty fucked up. So I think that's probably what makes it so creepy, in my opinion, is that it is fake, but based off of some of things that are actual shitty real life things that happen.
Right.
Because I feel like horror that's based in reality, like things that could actually happen, is way scarier than like, oh, there's a ghost,
Right.
At least to me, like you said, horror is subjective, so some people might find like zombies more scary than other things. It's whatever you find scary. But that to me is what is truly really scary. Is things that actually happen that are pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean it's also the thought of like it kind of plays into the idea of hallucinations too, because if you don't sleep for an extended period of time, I forget the exact time frame you need to not sleep for it to start. But hallucinations are terrifying because only you see them. So when you're starting to see someone like walking towards you or something, you're like, "Hey, who's that?" And they're like, whether you're with your friends or family, they're like, "Who are you talking about?" That's terrifying because that happens in like short films all the time, where it's like, "Hey, do you guys see that person over there?" And they're like, "What person?" And then the fear sets in, like, what? Like, is that a ghost? Am I seeing things? Like, what's going on? It kind of sets into that kind of idea too.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that because there was a book I read called Insomnia. It's one of Stephen King's books, and I read it because I was like, oh, it's about insomnia, and I guess the horror aspect comes from the like hallucinations and whatnot. That sounds really interesting. That's not what it's about. It's way less interesting. It's probably my least favorite of his books.
Right.
Probably because of like what I was expecting versus what it was actually about. Which, like, if I knew what it was about beforehand, I'd be like, oh, that's fine. That's just not. Like, and it's also not like misleading. That's the thing. Is like it's not meant to be like, oh, this is what it's actually about. But then it's not. It's just my expectation versus reality had me disappointed.
Right.
Yeah. I think it's like 5 days. I could be wrong. Before you start hallucinating.
It could be. Yeah, I thought it was closer than that, but maybe you're right.
I think it also depends on the person. But yeah, hallucinations are freaky because, like you said, it's only you who experiences it.
Well, and this isn't a creepypasta,
like
but sleep paralysis demons are that's what those are. Is their hallucinations.
Right.
But
yeah, those are freaky.
Yeah, they're not a creepypasta, but I just thought to include that because that is what those are at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. I guess we didn't really say what the Russian sleep experience actually is. It's just a creepypasta that was about test subjects who were exposed to experimental gas designed to keep them awake.
Right.
which is kind of crazy. Is it a movie based off of it? Oh, interesting. They make movies about a lot of stuff. I remember there's another creepypasta that I heard they were making a movie about.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was though. But anyway, what you got?
So I'm gonna end off my final one on a one that kind of truly, it doesn't like scare me anymore, but when I first read it, I was shivering. Had goosebumps. I did not want to go anywhere near anyone. I did not. I actually, because I read this when I was home alone. I want to preface that I was home alone when I read this, and I was like, it was like a thing that you could. It's a site you can go onto and you read it. And I was home alone, and it was at night because I was stupid. Because why would you read these kind of things when you're home alone at night? Because that's how people in horror movies die. But I did it anyway. And that one is called, let's see, Annie96 is typing. Now, this one might be well known or it might not be to you, depending on how you perceive this one. It was made all the way back in 2014, and it follows this like WhatsApp story. The beginning of it is that this person was scrolling through WhatsApp and he found this chat history between two people he didn't know. And there's this website you can go to. It's called storiesforyourscreen.com. That's where you can read it. And so I had gone on that, and I was like, oh, this is interesting, let me read it. Because, I was hoping to get some juicy drama about stuff. I don't know why I was actually on here. But, yeah, so they started, so Annie96 is, like, the first person to talk. She's like, hey, are you awake? And then this other guy's name's Mick Davey. Like, they kind of start talking. They're like, oh, why are you up? This is why I'm up, or whatever. And then all like out of nowhere, it takes a dark turn. She's like, "Oh, I think I hear someone outside," and now she's home alone too. You find out that later in the story, and basically, you just kind of keep they kind of keep typing. They're like, "Oh, what's he doing?" She eventually looks up to the window to see a strange man that looks like Mick Davey, just like digging in her garden or something. And eventually, she's like, what's going on, McDavie? Why are you in my garden digging? McDavie's like, Annie, that's not me. I'm home. And then she's like, oh, I can see your jacket, you idiot. And he's like, Annie, my jacket's in my closet right now. And it's just like that. That's unsettling, but that's not even the worst yet. And then eventually, the person she's seeing eventually like just looks up at her, and she drops to the ground or whatever. And she's like, Davey, what's going on? And he's like, I don't know. And eventually the thing breaks into the house. And she calls, I forget if he calls 911 or if she does. I forgot who did. I think he does. Yeah, anyway, they call the police. She hides, she like barricades herself in the room. And then all of a sudden she starts hearing this voice saying, come out, Annie, come out, Annie. And it's like this weird, distorted voice. And like what she keeps talking about how she keeps hearing things and how like she's starting to regret how she didn't say anything to her dad or like to her parents before she left. And it's just really it starts to get sad because she's believing she's gonna die to this person. She starts hearing like them walking up the stairs and stuff. And it's just really creepy. And I always like made the joke when I was reading this because Mick Davey, I forgot exactly what he says half the time, but a lot of it was garbage advice. Because I'm like, Mick Davey, you Mick Doofus, what are you doing? Yeah, so eventually she starts, she falls into madness, basically. She's kind of, really terrified, and Mick Davey's not exactly helping the situation. And then I forget exactly how it plays out, but the way I remember it happening is he's talking with her. She's like, "Can you do something about this?" David's like, "I don't know. I'm trying." And he's like, he comes to the solution to stop thinking about her or something. And she's like, "It's working. Keep going or something." And he eventually realizes that she can't hear this voice anymore that's telling her to come out. And essentially, she's like, "What do I tell the police if he's gone?" And he's glad that the voice stopped, and the Annie's like, "Can you come over? I want to see you," or whatever. And he's like, "Oh, I can't wait to see you." And then all of a sudden, he realizes something, and he's like, "Annie, how do I know this is you?" and then it says Annie 96 went offline. It is terrifying, and the way I'm getting shivers just thinking about this right now. The way you know that it wasn't her anymore is because, and you won't know this from what I'm saying, Annie always started a sentence with a lowercase letter. In my experience, women always do that. I don't know what that's about, but I don't know. But she does that. She starts when saying it might be, the it is, there's no capitals anywhere. The moment she says it's slowing down, try harder, there's capital letters now. And you kind of realize that after you read the fact that, because you don't know that the monster demon thing that killed her, presumably, is talking to McDavie here, because you only find that out at the very end when it says Annie 96 went offline. So you only find out that whatever, had taken over Annie at that point. And it's so spine-chilling. Like I said, I literally got goosebumps just reading it again now. No thank you. There's so many things at play here. There's like the whole doppelganger theory, which is what Mandela Catalog plays off of, which is that you see someone that looks exactly like you or someone exactly like you know, and that person's like, it's not me, like classic video game Lethal Company repo type garbage. Like you walk into the room, you see your friend, like, hey buddy, how's it going? Hey John, why are you doing that, John? And John's like, that's not me. Like classic horror game 101 right there. And it's kind of play cases in this story here. It is truly, truly terrifying. I recommend you read it for yourself. I kind of did just spoil it if you haven't read it, but it's from 2014. Get your crap together, man. I can't help you with everything. You want me to tuck you in for bed too? Like, come on. So.
Yeah, that's one. I think I probably heard it before. Sounds familiar, anyway.
Yeah.
But I think we'll wrap it up there.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah. Well, I hope you guys liked this. It's I was gonna say it's a bit different than what I normally do, but it's really not.
It's not, because also I'm gonna have like campfire noises again in the background, just so it feels like we're telling spooky stories around the campfire type thing. So, because the ones where I've done that, they've performed really well. So you guys seem to prefer that over the ones where I don't do that. So.
Yeah, I remember listening to one of the previous Halloween episodes and really enjoying that aspect of it. So I'm glad other people do too.
Well, did you listen to the Provoker's Horror Experience, or was that the one you listened to?
No, it was like one of the first ones. You know, I think it was just spooky stories.
Yeah, you should definitely listen to the Provoker's Horror Experience one, because that one it's more of a horror experience for the actual audience listening to it rather than for us. So it's really fun. Right. I didn't want to do that again this year because that'd be kind of repeating ourselves. But it's a super good episode. You guys loved it, and so if you want a horror experience, turn your lights off. I think I say that in the intro to the episode. Turn your lights off. Listen to it at night. Put some headphones on, whatever I say, because that's where you get the true spook factor. So.
Right. But yes, thank you guys so much for listening. We hope we provoked a conversation and made you laugh along the way. If you want to find myself, you can find me on Jeebins Phoebins on Twitch, or at Jeebins Phoebins on YouTube, or Jeebins Phoebins VODs. I really don't have, it's not hard to find. That's all I'm saying. And you can also check out Ethan over at Flabs XZ Gaming on YouTube. And he also has a Twitch channel, but he don't stream that much because time and all that good stuff. So, but maybe in the future. And following's free, so you really don't have an excuse not to. You can find us over on Twitter or X at Provokers Pod, as well as Instagram at the Provokers Podcast Official. You can check out the Patreon. It's called the Provokers. We have multiple tiers. They get special awards and perks, and each tier ranges from $1 to $100, and you get more the higher you buy. And if you feel you don't want to pay that much, you don't have to. And then you can also check out the extended cut episodes, where they're like very short 30-minute segments. There's like a bit of a different style, They're just kind of there if you want it. The first five are only $3, and after that they're $5. So you can kind of get an idea of something you want to check out. And then with all that out of the way, we'll see you guys next time.